Hello and welcome to Unconditional Self-Love with Tilly Reed. And thank you for listening. I've been enjoying putting these podcasts out every week. It was always something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I don't know why. It was one of them things I was procrastinating on, as we do. And I was procrastinating on putting podcast out for many reasons. It's that fear of being seen. It's fear of being out there, being heard, saying what I want to say, how I want to say it. Podcasts are they're a great way to just get your message out there and what you want to say. So I feel privileged to be able to do this, and for you all listening, thank you so much for doing it. I really do appreciate every listen, and hopefully I can give you more. So this week, I wanted to share with you a little extract of it was kind of like an end of the year audit I did last year. So this would be 2021 leading into 2022. And I always do it sometimes I do it sort of around the new year time. It's always that time of year. I think everyone gets it. It's been drilled into us, that new year, new me thing, where people make New Year's resolutions. It's always that turning over a page, turning over a chapter time where you can go, okay, well, how did that go? And how do I want to continue moving forward? So it's always a time of year to reflect on that and do a little life audit. And I haven't always done this. This has definitely been something that I've only just started doing since sort of my own sort of self-love journey. But I think it's a really good way to just check in. And I know some people do it, a big one at the end of the year, and I know some people talk about doing little sort of mini check-ins, maybe at the end of the month, or maybe like on the moon, the new moon, the full moon. People do lots of check-ins then, which I'll probably talk about at some point. But it is a really good way to check in and just notice if you're at a stage in your life that you want to be, and, if there's anything you can change. And it's also a really good way to see what you've done. I think we can get so wrapped up in the things that we haven't done, because that's just our mindset sometimes. We can have a negative bias and look at all the negative things. But actually, when we start to look at all the things we've done, we go, oh, actually, I did way more than I thought I'd done. And this is always the case for me. I don't know whether it is for everyone else. I'm assuming so. So I was just reading basically my last year into this year, and I wanted to chat about it because, well, for different reasons, basically. I did one section on the lessons I've learned in 2021, which was great. And actually reading those again, they are ones that I have hopefully continued to take into 2022. So I will read those out at some point. But I also want to cover a section where I wrote about what are my intentions for 2022. And when I read this, I realised that I hadn't done a lot of it. I hadn't achieved a lot of the things I'd spoken about. And, there was an element of little disappointment. But also, I know that I have done other stuff. So I just wanted to share this because I thought that maybe other people might be feeling like down about things that they haven't done without realising the things that you have actually achieved. But anyway, okay, so the lessons I've learned in 2021 were, and will probably continue to be, So the first one was, nothing external should validate me. Anything can change at any point, good and bad. Oof. Yes, that was a big one. Nothing external should validate me. Because anything can change, literally. And I think another one of them, it was the ebb and flow of life. Because nothing is permanent. You know, it's so easy for us to put our validation, our worth in anything external, you know, whether it's our careers, our relationships, anything the external that we seek out. We seek out for this validation when, in fact, it's not going to be the deciding effect of how we feel. That comes from within. You know, if you find a genuine self-love from within and a worthiness from within, then great. You can probably find joy in those external things. But if you're just seeking those external things to make you happy, then that's not going to work. Number 2 was surrendering to whatever is happening in that moment. So, yeah, surrendering. I think that was a big part of the beginning of this year. I worked into my affirmations. Surrendering is key to life because we can only control so much. We try so hard to control every aspect of our lives, you know, down to the last detail sometimes, and we can't foresee stuff that's going to happen. And surrendering to things when the shit hits the fan, which it may do, is key to life. But it's easier said than done, don't get me wrong. Okay, the next one was responding and not reacting to situations. And this is a great one. You know, this is actually taking the time to, if something triggers you, if something happens, you know, and you have a very strong reaction to it, instead of having a strong reaction back and, you know, quickly reacting to it, you know, it's about stopping, maybe taking a few minutes, maybe taking some deep breaths and going, okay, yeah, this has annoyed me. Why is this annoying me? Okay, and don't get me wrong, you know, there are things out there that are going to have this reaction of you, but it's all good. And next one, my capacity to keep going and be resilient. I think that resilience is such a great thing to cultivate in your life. You know, once I started to do this work, this self-love work, I really started to gain more resilience in how I showed up and what I did in situations and how I reacted, what I said. You know, I really became way more resilient. What else did I put? Listening to what my intuition tells me. Intuition is something that I've listened to most of my life. I think I've always been quite good at going, yeah, something's off. I don't quite know what it is. I'm not sure why, but it's a no. This was generally around when I was dating. And I didn't know why. I never knew why. I was just like, something just doesn't feel right in my body. And it was a no. And I've got very used to listening to that part of myself and responding to it and listening to it, because it's always right. Your body will know things way before your mind does, and your mind picks up on anything, because your body is picking up on all sorts of other signals that you are not even registering consciously. You know, it's picking up on all the subconscious kind of levels of communication that you miss. So your body is very, very intelligent. So if you do get any of those, you know, oh, I'm not sure why I'm feeling no, you know, in your body, you will feel it in your body, and trust it. Please just trust it, because it is right. Okay, the next one was not let other people influence my guidance. I think I need to learn that one again this year. 2022, yes. I think it's been very easy to get influenced. I think particularly because of what I do. I run my own business, meditation mindset mentor, and I get stuck, not all the time, some of the time, I get stuck into looking at other coaches' posts and seeing what they're doing. And I just go, oh, that looks good. I'll do that. Oh, wow. Look at them. Oh, look at them. They're doing amazing things. And I do get drawn into it. I get drawn into it every single time. When I know that's not what people want. People want me. They want me. They want my insights, my story, how I did what I did, and it's something that I am still working on, but yes, I think it's good. So now we're on to the next section of this podcast, which is what are my intentions for 2022? So I basically wrote that I wanted my business to be really successful and to be earning, a good amount of money, to be able to live comfortably. I've never been that materialistic. Materialism is not really my thing. I don't really buy lots of clothes or anything. I mean, get in a bookshop. I will, I like books, but I'm not generally a materialistic person. Or I do like food though as well, she says. But I wrote, that I wished my career to be successful and to start gaining lots of clients that wanted to work with me, and be able to have plenty in my savings and a business that was thriving by the end of 2022. Now, this hasn't happened. This hasn't happened, but I think that I'm okay with it. I believe that I'm okay with it because I know that I've been doing other stuff as well, and there's been points throughout the year where I've done some acting work as an actor. I went and did some work in an office where I live and helped out there. So there's been periods where my business hasn't been my main focus. And I've also been struggling with, for the sort of the latter part of this year, I have been struggling with my energy. I've had really low bouts of energy and sort of going to the doctors with that and having lots of blood tests. So I'm kind of dealing with that. And I think that it's okay. We can put so much pressure on ourselves to achieve these things. And when we don't, then we're so hard on ourselves that we then go, well, what's the point? And I think there's been an element of that for myself where I've kind of gone, oh, what's the point? What's the point of me doing this? If it's not working as well as I'd hoped, then what's the point? But the point is, even if it helps one person, even if I get out there and my message is being read, then that's worth it. I think that's worth it. So I will keep going and keep putting my message out there for you to all listen. And what else did I write? I think I wrote about dating as well somewhere. Let me find it. Oh, yes. There was I wrote about getting back on dating sites, which definitely didn't happen in 2022 because I think I've just become so used to being on my own, which I love. And don't get me wrong, I get lonely, but I also really love my own company. And I just don't have the time for the bullshit that comes with online dating. Like, I really don't. Like, I have a really good close friend that's going through it, and she basically just tells me all her stories about it, and every time I go, well, I can't be bothered with that. Just all of the things, the ghosting, the gaslighting, all of the things. It's just, I realized, I'm a 43-year-old woman, and, I have done the work. I am going to continue doing the work on myself. And, I recognize that not everyone is going to be doing that. But, as that saying, what was that saying? People that will only meet you as far as they've met themselves. And I think that's a really powerful message, because, people will only meet you as far as they've met themselves. So if they've not done any work, and they're dealing with the traumas and the triggers and their limiting beliefs and fears and all of the rest, then it's going to show up in dating. It just is. And I'm not saying that I am perfect by any means and that I've got rid of all of these things and anything like that. I'm really, really not. It's just that I recognize that I am in the process of working towards, an element of me going, okay, I can look at my own bullshit and go, oh, wow, yeah, I am triggered by that. Why am I triggered by that? Oh, yes, I remember now. That was something from my childhood that I didn't deal with that needs to probably just be looked at. But I'm aware enough, I have enough self-awareness to be able to go, yeah, I need to look at that. I will look at that. And yeah, so I think it's okay. But so those are a couple of things that I just wanted to chat about this week. Just a random chat about my life, my little audit, my last year's audit, which I will definitely do again this year. And it's really good to do, like I say. It's really, really good to do. And although I look at it and go, I haven't achieved, like I say, they seem like big things. But it's okay. It's all okay. And we are all doing the best that we can with the information that we have at the time. Okay. So thank you for listening. I will be back next Friday with my latest podcast. Thank you. So I just wanted to add another extra little section to this podcast this week, because I recorded this podcast and then I did a little story on my Instagram page as well, just about how, I was looking at it and then I'd not achieved the things that I'd set out to achieve in 2022. And then I had a message from my accountability buddy, Patricia Keneally. And we just meet up on Zoom every so often to just check up on each other. And she was like, but you've done so much. And then just listed a load of things that I've actually done off the top of her head. And it's so true. We can get bogged down with the things, because it's not hitting certain targets or goals that we've set for ourselves. We can be really hard on ourselves instead of actually breaking down them goals. It's that thing of staying consistent and just doing like small things every day is basically what makes it count. And please remember this when it comes to things like your, New Year's resolutions. If you've set any of them or you have any big goals that you want to do, it is just about remembering all the small steps that come before these bigger goals and to stop them feeling so overwhelming. We need to break them down into smaller and smaller and smaller goals and just taking those smaller steps, to what we want to achieve. So I have done, way more this year in my business than I ever have, doing my own website. That was like a big thing for me. I am really not technical. I don't know about anybody else, but I struggle technically with things, but I managed to get that up and running. I created the courses that I now offer. My online course, my 10-week program. I did all that. I created all the graphics for it. I did my YouTube site. Just so many things that I started that, I wasn't giving myself credit for. But then when you actually look at it, you go, oh, yeah, I might not have done that, but look at what I have done. I am actually doing the work. I am actually starting, and I think that's what really counts. That's what matters. And sometimes you can get bogged down on the bigger picture and looking at that big goal and going, that's what I want. Why am I not there yet? Why am I not achieving that? Or whatever it is, whether it's career or relationship or, I don't know, something like losing weight, anything like that. When you look at it, you look at the bigger goal and, you can get frustrated that it's not going as quickly as what you want it to. But actually, if you just take a moment and just have a look at what you have done and how far you've come, then you will probably have done way more than you realise. And that's what I did. So I just wanted to come on and add this little section to the end of this week's podcast to just say, just do a little check-in and just to see what you have achieved, because I bet it's more than you think. Okay, well, thank you for listening.